European Cup. The Poles from Poznan were simply outclassed.
But they've got it now. And John Walk it is again. Getting free on the right side of the area. Robinson on the near post with a back flick. John Walk! So I suppose that's some sort of hat-trick, and they have come consecutively. One in the first leg, two in the second. Got a ground for Kofnet to make up, and he won't do so. Neil attacking him and beating him comfortably. Oh, and it's gone all the way. And Paul Walsh has his first goal in European competition. Dalglish. Walsh in such freedom. Can they pick out a man this time? John Walk, yes! He picked out the right man. And John Walk has the hat-trick.
Look what happened in the second round.
And that was Whelan. And Alvaro's clearance. And Lawrenson. And it didn't run. Walk, rush! He's back with a goal. Diamantino is hovering. Gillespie will have to be sure. Diamantino. And Vando's coming in from the far side, and it's Diamantino. And a goal for Benfica. Dalglish. Lee to Neil. And Dalglish. Johnston. And Bento coming a long way to punch. Knocked back in by Neil. Whelan. Whelan shot diverted into the back of the net. He's there again. Ian Rush. Look at the puddles over there. It's almost impossible to get the ball to run. But Lee made something of it to Johnston. Another good cross from him. Rush is up there. Ronnie Whelan missed it. Rush! Yes! The hat-trick! But Benfica are appealing. Bento's come tearing out of goal to protest at the referee. The crowd are on the pitch as well, unfortunately. A few of them. And Ian Rush has scored a hat-trick.
It was a good thing he did, because in Lisbon's Stadium of Light, Grobbelaar conceded a penalty in the first half of the second leg. Benfica scored through Michael Manica to make the aggregate 3-2, but that's how it stayed, and Liverpool were in the semi-final. This was a busy time for the club. They lost in Tokyo to Independiente in the World Club Championship and in the European Super Cup to Juventus. But in the European Cup quarter-final, Tony Polster gave Austria Vienna the lead in the first leg against Liverpool, and it stayed like that until 4 minutes from the end. Then Liverpool capitalised on a free kick. Scotsman Steve Nicol, another shrewd Liverpool signing, scored his first European goal here. Some consolation for missing the first penalty in the Rome shootout a year earlier. His goal brought the Austrians to Anfield all square.
Here's Hansen. And again, Kennedy seeing his chance to get forward. Good ball. And Walsh! Beautifully taken and beautifully made. A fine goal for Liverpool. Hansen. Both these Liverpool centre-backs are so smooth in possession. Trying to get Whelan in. Chance. Pulled back. Oh, Nicol! 2-0 to Liverpool and an own goal by Obermeyer. He could do nothing about it. Taken short to Kennedy. There's Walk looking for Rush. Ducks Backer again. And there's Walsh! Oh! Sweet as you like on the volley from Paul Walsh. Ducks Backer knows it's his fault, really.
It was much the same story in the semi-final against Panathinaikos.
Oh, pushed under the post, Walk! The breakthrough. Donald, Begden available. Whelan pulls wide to the left. This was a bit square, didn't give him anything to run onto, but here's Rush, and that's a goal! The Rush! 2 goals in a minute. Both for Ian Rush. Dalglish coming at the back. Oh, that is a magnificent goal for Jim Beck. Is now in his place. But there are still considerable problems at the Italian end of the ground. All the officials tonight come from Switzerland, but they don't care who comes from anywhere. They're just going to cause trouble, and finally the police have decided they have to get among the crowd. Fence has been broken at that end. And the public address announcer reading through the Juventus team. Team photograph of the holders of the European Cup, Liverpool. And what a contrast it is between looking at footballers and looking at scenes of trouble on the terraces and the police. That's the Juventus lineup, showing only one change, in fact, from the team that beat Liverpool in the Super Cup, the return of Tacconi in goal. And the match at the moment is 1 hour and 25 minutes late as the coin is finally tossed between the two captains. And I would imagine the teams are going to stay as they are at the kick-in. Liverpool have had their worries about Walsh's stomach muscles, Lawrenson's right shoulder, and Ian Rush's right hand. But Joe Fagan's last choice is the team that he wanted. 3 new to European Cup finals: Begden, Walsh and John Wall. The referee, a former professional footballer, indeed at international level, Andre Dena, also has a degree in chemistry and is a director of a concrete firm, a cement making firm. So the match will begin with fires on the with policemen in riot gear poised to stop any problem at its start. And in fact, the teams have changed ends. So Liverpool defending the goal to our right. Still the fires to put out. And can the players now produce a quality of football to at least make us, for the next hour and a half, dismiss as far as is possible from our minds the scenes which preceded this 30th final of the European Champions Cup. It's Mark Lawrenson for Liverpool and Phil Neal, the captain. He has shown himself to be a leader of men off the field as well as on. The ground is ringed by policemen, and to our right there is a rather larger group defending a hole in the terraces. Good challenge by Lawrenson. And Cabrini coming up. First touch, I think, for Platini, but he was well surrounded. Rush. For Walsh.
Still feeling the stomach muscle problem. Lawrenson. Oh, he had to hurry a bit, in fact, needed the help from Alan Hansen. And Bruce Grobbelaar does well to save the corner. Liverpool with the chance to make the trophy their own. 5 victories will give them the cup. And Juventus with the chance to become the first side to win all 3 European competitions, the Champions' Cup, the Cup Winners' Cup and the UEFA Cup. They won the Cup Winners' Cup last year and the UEFA Cup back in 1977. Free kick to Liverpool. And I have a feeling that Mark Lawrenson has hurt his shoulder again as he went into that challenge, and I think we're going to have an early substitution. He's played for just over 2 minutes and he's going to be replaced. The right shoulder, he fell awkwardly and he comes off looking a very sorrowful figure, and on the field comes Gary Gillespie. Liverpool using one of their 2 allowed substitutes already. Going off with Roy Evans. Evans, one of the backroom boys, obviously affected by the decision of Joe Fagan that this is his last match in charge. Here's Boniek. Gillespie's first challenge. Dalglish tonight playing in midfield with Rush and Walsh forward. And Walsh has gone too far forward and is offside. Stefano Tacconi. Got his place back. And up front he has 2 men. One of them Rossi. And Juventus, in their 2 defeats in the European Cup final, conceded a goal inside the first 10 minutes and never recovered from that fact. Rossi. A little theatrical, but there was a trip. The acting came from Cabrini. Bettini's first free kick, but not in a dangerous position. Here's Boniek. Marco Tardelli. Offside against Bettini. Frenchman well offside. Twice the European Footballer of the Year, and certainly the key to his own side's future in this contest, and possibly the key to the whole match. It's Alan Hansen. Played in 3 of the previous 4. Phil Neal, the only player to have played in all 4 previous European Cup finals for Liverpool, going back to 1977. Scored in 2 of them too. On by Rush, away by Brio. Whelan. Feeling is understandably all a little unreal. Dalglish. Away by Cabrini. Rossi to Bonini. Offside. In fact, as you would have observed, it was Rossi forward. So far, the marking of the players up front. Brio is marking Rush, and Favreau is marking Walsh. Here they are, 2 last mentioned, and the free kick against Favreau. Chiré wears number 6 and plays at as the spare man at the back for both his club and his country, and he captains both of them. Weeder leaves it to Jim Beglin, and the flag is up for offside. Steve Nicol. Nicol came on as a substitute in the final in Rome 12 months ago. And then missed the first penalty of the competition, but he was rescued. Dalglish. Walsh. Brzeski and Rossi forward. Cabrini in possession. Bonini. And the whistle has gone. And the first signs of a real contest on the football field between Dalglish and Bonini. Is Platini looking to get Rossi away. Beglin has kept Alan Kennedy out of the side. Kennedy, who's been unfit and only played one in the last 8 matches, but he was fit and available for selection, but Joe Fagan staying with Beglin. Rush, you notice, with a plaster on his right hand. And that was the result of getting in the way of a shot from Kenny Dalglish in practice, and I think there may well be a bone broken. Certainly it's caused him a lot of pain and cost him a bit of sleep. Neal with a free kick. Warp looking to get up. Shirea does. But there was a push, says the Swiss referee. Tardelli, one of the internationals on the field. Bonini is not so because he likes to keep his citizenship of San Marino. Favreau. Rossi, Boniek. Good challenge by Gillespie. Boniek going out to the left. Brzeski coming in the inside right position is Tardelli. Just a little bit too long for him to have any real chance of getting control. Liverpool's 21st consecutive season in Europe. For the record, it's Juventus' 22nd. Liverpool have been hugely the more successful. This is Bonini. No question of a trip by an opponent. He tripped over himself. Walsh trying to pull Favreau away. Hansen. And Breer allowing him to turn. And giving the ball away to Nicol for a moment at least, and Platini then claimed it. Tardelli. Rossi. Working hard to lose Beglin, but hasn't succeeded. Platini. Tardelli. Past the 10-minute mark. No score. Gillespie. Walsh comes short, then tries to go away. Gillespie rather lost concentration. And at least this time Juventus have survived conceding an early goal. They did so against Ajax in 73, and they did so against Hamburg in 83. And it proved to be the only goal of the match on both occasions. Dalglish. Yeah. Free kick against Tardelli. No attempt to get the ball, just to block the man. Rush has taken a position just inside the 18-yard area, centrally placed. Walsh is between him and the kicker, Ronnie Whelan. Three making the run now, two on the far side. Gillespie is the furthest over. Beglin could change the angle and does, but only to Platini. And one member of the police force showing a certain ability at the football and inadvertently helped Liverpool as a result. That's good play. It's a goal kick.
Well, with Mark Lawrenson having gone off with a damaged shoulder, it leaves Liverpool a little bit short at the back as far as pace is concerned, especially when you think that Platini is sending very long balls up Briaschi and Paolo Rossi. Very, very fast forwards. Nevertheless, the strain seems to have relaxed a little bit after this first few minutes, and now we have a football match rather than the terrible situation we started with.
And this time Tardelli is the innocent man. Taken early by Platini, looking for Cabrini. Walsh stayed onside. Rush is moving towards the middle. Cabrini away for the Italians. Three forward, Boniek starts his run. Boniek, not only a player of great pace, but his timing of the run is often so exquisite and so damaging to defenders who suddenly find a man running past them, staying onside and looking for the through ball. Platini often the supplier, but unable to find Tardelli there. After Tardelli, thought to be moving from Juventus at the end of the season and going to Fiorentina. Suggested there will be a bit of a break-up in the Italian team. Handball. And Whelan. And Brio starting to come forward, and the first shots of Juve. Grobbelaar poised. Most of the threat is coming on his right-hand post, although Boniek goes first. Platini gets up, away by Gillespie, only to Scirea. Cabrini. And away by Beglin. Rush holding his right arm somewhat awkwardly. Darvish and Briaschi, who's been doubtful with a knee injury, didn't seem too happy in that challenge. Dalglish. Dalglish looking for what would be his 21st goal in his 80th European match. Platini. Cabrini. And the free kick given, although Rossi was always falling. And he turned into Neil. Platini. Boniek. Platini. Well played by Alan Hansen. Nice to see Alan Hansen leading a counter. If he played for an Italian team, he'd be an excellent libero. He has the ability to come forward from the back as the spare defender. Here's Rush. Dalglish. Possible shooting chance, didn't seem to want it. Walk, he did. But it's a goal kick. The first real goal attempt coming precisely on the 15-minute mark. Favreau. Nickel. If he intended that, it suddenly created a lot of space. This is Neil. Four waiting. Well claimed. Tardelli. 31 in September. Played 78 times for Italy. And the Swiss referee being very precise as to where he wants the throw to be taken. Boniek gets away with it. It's a little dangerous. Got Cabrini available. Rossi, Briaschi and Platini all forward. Platini coming to take over. And Boniek continued the run and ran straight into Neil. Tardelli. Platini. Bonini. Looking for the return. Hansen was between the two. And a slight gesturing and waving of arms by Boniek and Alan Hansen. Brio. Not the best of challenges by Ronnie Whelan. Shidea. And I'm happy to report that there is calm all around the ground. The riot police to the goal to our right have been able to withdraw and sit down, and indeed some of them at least are watching the match. And they're watching Bonini. Offside against Rossi. Hansen. 2 up, 4 in midfield for Liverpool. Gillespie. Neil. Hansen. Very much the European pace of football. Nickel. Walsh. Teasing Favreau a bit. Brio's header. Neil and Walsh not reading each other's mind. Boniek wants obstruction for that. It's quite unbelievable. Pole, incidentally, who leaves here after the match and is being flown by a private jet, played by Mr. Agnelli, who is the backer of Juventus. And he's flying to Pisa and on eventually to play for Poland in the World Cup in Albania tomorrow. Rush. Nickel. Walsh trying to get walked through. And here's Steve Nickel. Ronnie Whelan unmarked on the far post. And he's pulling away. The cross was a disappointing one. Cabrini couldn't keep it in. Certainly, I think it's fair to say that there are good signs that both sides are prepared to go out and attack. Too many European finals have been decided by the only goal in recent years. Good play by Walsh. Good try too. So much wanted to play in this match. And thought on Monday that his chance had gone because of his stomach muscle injury. Platini. Boniek. Tardelli. Briaschi. Signed from Genoa last summer, cost £1.2 million. It's the highest in the transfer merry-go-round that happens each summer in Italy. It's Boniek. Could be involved this time. Looking for the return from Platini. Good play by Steve Nickel. Nickel and Cabrini. And there was a bit of pushing by Antonio Cabrini. Neal to take the free kick. Walsh and Rush on the edge of the box. Changing positions, but not markers. Tardelli. And that's a Liverpool corner. And Kenny Dalglish to take the first corner of the contest. Nicol has come across to the near post. Gillespie is up as well. Another corner off Favreau. Walsh putting away to the far post. Rush has come further across. Gillespie, good claim again. Although he lost it for a second. I think he was fouled, the goalkeeper. But he was very positive in coming for the ball. Well, we're halfway through the first half. No score. And if you've joined us late, the match kicked off very late because of problems in the crowd, which resulted, I'm sorry to say, in death and injury. Players finally coming onto the pitch to try and lift a very sad occasion. Kickoff was delayed for 1.5 hours. Here's Bonini to Tardelli to Boniek. All a little bunched, and there were 2 players offside for Juventus. Rush turning comfortably away from Brio, and there are certain areas of the field where Brio is quite happy to let him turn and go away. Whelan, and Brio forced to come and collect him and concede a free kick. Five Liverpool players in the area of the far post. Rush moving further away to make the 5th, and then changes his mind, comes the other way. It was marked then by Tardelli. Dalglish to take it. Trying obviously for the top corner.
Well, I must say that when I first saw the pace of the front runners of Juventus, I was particularly worried because it was quite ominous. But nevertheless, as the game has worn on, I've found that Paul Walsh and Ian Rush have found lots and lots of time to collect the ball, and they are very, very tightly marked. Walsh in particular seems particularly confident and is enjoying this match.
Rossi pushes out to Jim Beglin. Hansen. Tardelli. Platini. Looking for the return. And Rossi was waiting for the bounce. Free kick was given, but taken from 10 yards further forward. Frenchman Michel Platini makes an observation which presumably a Swiss would have understood. Seems to me that most Swiss can speak at least 3 languages, and a 4th that nobody can understand, called Swiss German. Tardelli will take the kick from the proper place, and Walsh makes a rather untidy and unnecessary challenge on the captain of France. He takes the kick from about 4 yards further forward this time. Tardelli. And Dalglish to tidy up. And Platini none the worse for wear, but Bruce Grobbelaar are waiting to be sure of that fact. Walsh, Nicol, Neil, and Walsh are judged to have moved too soon. Juventus coming through to the final by beating Yves Tampere of Finland. 6-1 on aggregate, obviously getting 3 in the first game. 6-2 against Grasshoppers of Zurich, 3-1 against Sparta Prague. They won 3-0 at home and lost away. And then 3-2 against the French champions Bordeaux, winning 3-0 at home and getting through with a bit of a scrape away where they lost 2-0. Brio, Tardelli, Neil, always available if he sees an attacking possibility. Here's John Walk, a bit more room behind him than he realised. Dalglish trying to chip a goalkeeper who'd started to move forward, but a man considered as being the favourite as the future manager of Liverpool has not found his touch yet from free kicks and chips. Dalglish. I'm sure, incidentally, that an announcement will be made on Friday about the management position. Tardelli starting to pinch a few yards, and Mr. Dana waving him back. Rossi, Beglin, good spin, well used. Dalglish, Marco Tardelli made it his. Neil getting rather caught, and this is Briaski. Rossi to his right, Boniek further over. Briaski loses control, and it cost him everything. Kind of an all fall down. And which way is the free kick going? It's going to Juventus because Rush was trying to hold up his man. Platini. Rush. Bit of push and pull. Rossi was the offender. Rossi has not had a good season. Hadn't managed to get on the score sheet until December. Paul Walsh shooting the ball really well. Walsh. Dalglish. Alan Hansen. And half an hour the match has gone. No score. And that's cut out by Platini. The pace of the counter. This is Rossi. Platini wants it back. Briaski is up on the attack as well, so is Boniek. Reinforcements from behind. One of them is Cabrini, and it's his shot, and it produces a very good save by Bruce Grobbelaar. Typical Juventus break, all sorts of possibilities on. Front players taking positions, and it was laid back to Cabrini. He hit it not quite as quickly as the replay suggested, but it even so was a fine save. Nicol. Walsh didn't make it. Platini winning the ball well. And they're trying to get Walk in, the flag stays down. but the opportunity goes away. And Stefano Tacconi thought that the flag should have been raised. The linesman was absolutely level. And the referee has called a halt to give a free kick. It's a live little ball placed through, and they appeal for offside, but it was not. Whelan. Good running by Rush. Walsh is up. Nicol coming on the far side. And not a bad attempt by Ian Rush to surprise the goalkeeper, who was probably looking for the cross. Ian Rush, 26 goals this season. Puts him one behind John Walk. Favreau, after an unintentional embrace with Chirea, of which Chirea certainly came off the worse. Cabrini. Favreau. Platini. Never any intention by Liverpool to put a man on Platini all the way through. It's Chirea who's got forward from Tardelli, and Neil, who read it well, coming across the back. Well left by Tardelli. Platini forwards. And Grobbelaar making it look quite comfortable. Nicol. Every Juventus player has withdrawn to a defensive position. Good play by Rush. He was being held a bit by Brio too. Walk trying to turn his man, who is Bonini. And here's Ronnie Whelan. That's a good save. But I think it got a deflection initially before the goalkeeper had to turn it over. And really did well. Whelan's shot came up off the defender near to him, and I think it's worth recording that the save was applauded at both ends of the ground. So one save by each goalkeeper. Neil's cross, Walsh. A little bit tight for him. And Rossi on the break to Platini, who finds himself one-on-one with Alan Hansen. The French captain looked pretty early for support, I think. Boniek is offside. A little surprising that, Bobby, that Platini didn't seem to want to take him on.
Well, I think he realised that he just didn't have the pace, and I think he was slightly surprised that he didn't have as good a support as he thought he should have had. Nevertheless, when it was 1 against 1 and a world-class player like Platini, you would have thought they would have at least finished with a shot at goal, but not to be. The two good chances have come from Liverpool.
Whelan. Beglin. Walsh. And here's Rossi. Comfortable dummy and got a tickle in the ribs from Dalglish. Almost a very good ball by Briaski, or for Briaski rather. Just a slight breeze blowing from left to right as we look. There. Straight to Platini. Walk was quick to get goal side of him and force the turn, which allowed defenders to cover better. Hansen away. Rush on the right touchline moves inside. Nicol takes his place. Horse waits in the middle. Nicol being forced away by Cabrini. And the referee looks at the linesman, and the verdict is a goal kick. Boniek. Bonini. Walsh is looking very nippy indeed. Firstly on from Dalglish. Walsh looks for Whelan, number 8. Nicol at the back. Good header by Cabrini, needed to win it. Tardelli. Krieski, a lone figure forward for Juventus in the centre circle. And now Platini is taking a position on the right, and Boniek is going at them. Oh, what a good run. And clearly tripped by John Walk. And the yellow card quite rightly shown to John Walk. Lovely break by Boniek. Pace and control, and only denied by a foul. Seemed to show a lot of it initially to Whelan, then cut inside him, took on 2 others, got right through, and Walk had no chance of getting to the ball. And it's around 38 yards out, I suppose, a bit too far for Platini. And Tardelli strikes one and is well wide. Begley, the Irishman, giving it back to Bruce Grobbelaar. And here's the Scotsman, Alan Hansen. And another, Gillespie. Rush the Welshman. Italian ball. Five minutes of the half remaining. No score. Whelan. Neil. Hansen. Whelan starts to run forward in the inside left position. Walsh is in the inside right. And he very nearly found Rush. Rush will move just too soon. There. Free kick. And Gillespie. Bonini to Antonio Cabrini. Zbigniew Boniek. A few Italian triangles involving a Frenchman inevitably. Rossi. And Chiraya is forward in the right wing position at the moment. Tardelli just behind. corner conceded. First that Juventus have had. Tardeli's cross, out by Walk. Only to Boniek, looking to go through again. And was stopped by Jim Beglin. Quick look up to see where Rush was and found him. Rush needs support though. Comes the captain. And almost gets Walsh in. Good play by Liverpool. And Walsh is the player down hurt. It looks as though he may well be holding the stomach. Bonini. Platini. Briaski. And at the other end of the field, Walsh has limped off. Ronnie Moran has gone round to attend to him. Platini. Won by Gillespie. Out by Nicol. Favaro. So we've been to the last 2 minutes of the first half. Platini. Shooting opportunity perhaps. He wants to get a bit closer. And the shot came from Boniek and was certainly fiercely struck.
Boniek is particularly fast when he breaks from midfield there. He actually that was Platini that went down, but Boniek straight onto the ball and like lightning smashes it in. Tries his best to score the goal that might break the ice a little bit as far as the Italians are concerned. But they are very, very quick, and the midfield player do support the forwards much more quickly than the Liverpool setup just at the moment.
Hansen.
Well, the first half has gone particularly well for Liverpool, because after they lost Lawrence, I thought that they might struggle a wee bit. But nevertheless, they've kept to the job, they've marked properly, and they've controlled most of it, except for that little dash that they seem to have from in the middle of the field, usually based by Platini. And this man here, Boniek, one of the fastest players, and probably passing the ball to the best left-back that I've ever seen, Cabrini.
Platini. Outside of the boot, looking to get Cabrini in, and does. Too high for Briaski. Didn't arrive at Tardelli. Rossi. Platini. Tardelli. Shirea once more forward in attack. The referee has a check of the watch, the stadium clock indicating that time is up. Just the one statistic, a booking for John Walk. We reach half-time with the score Juventus 0, Liverpool 0.
That's the score, Liverpool 0, Juventus 0 in the 1985 European Cup final at half-time. A very quiet beginning and a very uneventful beginning to the game, but it did come alive in those last 20 minutes. And we'll look at that first half in more detail after this short break. And welcome back. And the score in the European Cup final at half-time, 0-0 between Juventus and Liverpool. And just before we discuss that first half, just to warn you, there will be a short break in transmission during that second half when we have to swap satellites. Unfortunately, that was caused by the delay earlier. So at about 7 o'clock Eastern time, we will be swapping satellites, which means a couple of minutes break in transmission. In fact, it'll be, I'm told now, at 7:15, so that'll be fairly late in the game, in fact. All right, gentlemen. Johnny, first, a very cautious start to the game, particularly that first half hour where nothing really happened.
No, well, normally finals, of course, takes a little while to settle down, to feel one another out, and obviously the circumstances prior to the game have affected all the players and anyone watching, so obviously it took a lot longer to settle down, but I felt Liverpool were the first to settle down and start to put their game together. But probably an ominous sign, I thought, was probably the last 15 minutes, was that Juventus started to come back into it. And whether Liverpool will feel the absence of Lawrenson, who came off in the second minute, could be a determining factor. But Boniek started a few things, and Platini a few things towards the end of the first half, which sort of promises better things to come for Juventus.
Really an ominous sign, Juventus' revival in those last 15 minutes?
Juventus started cautious as well as Liverpool, but as John said, Liverpool settled much quicker. And but in last 15-20 minutes were completely dominated by Juventus, but didn't cause any serious problems, except Platini on one occasion should have taken the last man on. There is no excuse for it, even for such a great player as Platini. On the other hand, Boniek and is taking on for that, you know, from behind. As soon as Platini has the ball, there is opening on both sides. And the most important factor in the game is contribution of Scirea and Cabrini into last 20 minutes. This is probably where Liverpool can be surprised very, very much, because as yet, not once Liverpool defender has gone into the counter-attack position.
The fact that Scirea came forward, his first run forward was in fact in the 33rd minute. Which means that until then, Juventus were content to be cautious at the back, but then they got a bit more adventurous. Is that how you see the second half developing, John?
Yes, I would think. I thought the last 15 minutes were a sign of things to come. And, you know, the contribution of the true libero of, you know, I think in Australia we tend to play with static liberos and overrate players because they do well in a defensive role. But his contribution on the few occasions, and we can assume more, is how the true libero should play, contributing to the attack as well as doing his defensive job.
OK, John, let's look at some of the incidents in that first half. We had virtually nothing to record for you until half hour into the game, just 15 minutes before the break. And that first incident came with a lovely Juventus counter-attack, and in the end, a shot by Cabrini and a fabulous save by Grobbelaar.
And half an hour of the match has gone. No score. And that's cut out by Platini. The pace of the counter. This is Rossi. Platini wants it back. Briaski is up on the attack as well, so is Boniek. Reinforcements from behind. One of them is Cabrini, and it's his shot, and it produces a very good save by Bruce Grobbelaar. Typical Juventus break. All sorts of possibilities on. Front players taking positions, and it was laid back to Cabrini. Hit it not quite as quickly as the replay suggested.
Yes, that was a quick, swift, crisp counter-attack by Juventus, very much a part of their play.
Yeah,
Rally.
it's so much typical from Cabrini. He has done in past. There is no reason that he shouldn't do today. Juventus is relying on these quick breakaways, but as I said, it's not so much defensive play. It's so much quick contribution by the player who is participating not in a long ball service, but in 1-2 situations. If the player participates in 1-2 situations, that's an entirely different football. Cannot be possible called defensive football, because player cannot participate on a short 1-2 if he is defensive player so much, or defensively oriented.
Now, there were a couple of occasions when Liverpool were caught on the offside, or, sorry, Juventus were caught by Liverpool on the offside. Is that something you expected? It's not something that they commonly do.
No, I didn't. It's obviously a counter to this coming from behind that Juventus specialises in. I certainly didn't expect it. The danger, of course, for all teams that do that is that maybe once in the game you get caught out, and it's obvious that probably one goal is going to decide this, as it has in past European Cups, is going to decide this game.
And he's bringing forward your libero to make forward runs, a way of countering those offside tactics?
Well, the deeper the run, generally the better it is to eliminate that. And against a team like Juventus, who specialise in this running from deep positions, it could be dangerous. Yeah.
All right, a minute later, after that save by Grobbelaar and that shot by Cabrini, a chance at the other end. The first of two consecutive chances at the other end, this one by John Walk. And the interesting thing about this is whether it was in fact offside or not. Have a look.
Nickel. Walsh didn't make it. Platini winning the ball well. And they're trying to get Walk in. The flag stays down, but the opportunity goes away. And Stefano Tacconi thought that the flag should have been raised. The linesman was absolutely level. And the referee has called a halt to give a free kick. It's a live little ball placed through, and they appeal for offside, but it was not.
John Walk missing the opportunity. A little bit touch and go, John, but Walk was just out of shot as the ball was played. It could have been either on or off, but he missed it anyway.
Depends on your eyes, I suppose.
Yes.
I thought he was onside.
Yes. Anyway, there was no goal anyway because John Walk missed his opportunity. The pattern of the game early in this game rally was much the same as last year when an Italian team played a British team. Did you awfully quiet, and it wouldn't be surprising again if once again we had a very low-scoring final with 45 minutes to go. It's still 0-0. Would you agree that it was similar to last year's?
Yeah, Italian football always has been built on patience. That's tradition of the country's upbringing in football, not mentality of the people who are very temperamental in their own nature and their own behavior. But football has been built on patience since early 30s. So, but then again, as you said, on patience, it's something so much on stake that the team, neither of the two sides, could take the risks. Liverpool, who is known for their attacking flair, were focusing for first 10-15 minutes. All right, they were more in a possession of the ball, but nothing really was happening on their behalf either.
Well, I can understand that coaches will ask their players in a match such as this to be cautious and let's just feel the opposition out and see what happens. Let's not take unnecessary risks. But at some point in the game, even the coach has to instruct his players to come out and play and score at least a goal.
It's not always a coach who is asking. It's a player who is also concerned about importance of the game, because the coach in this situation probably cannot make up his mind and say, let's just test him for first 5 or 10 minutes. But importance of the game and terms and conditions, financial rewards to the players dictate that cautious attitude on their behalf too. But that's mental approach by the player too.
Well, what I'm asking is, at what point in the game, in modern football, where there is a lot of this caution, do players get paranoid about the fact that they're going to drop a point, if they get paranoid at all? And in this game, it's no good dropping a point. At what point do they actually feel, modern footballers, that it's time to attack and give it to them?
Well, I think the coach's role is probably overplayed a little bit, and it's really up to the maturity and the experience of the players, and there are enough there with so much experience to determine when that is to happen, rather than say an instruction by the coach.
Sure. Okay, we'll take another incident now, and this was the third incident in that first half, again at the Juventus end, when Ronnie Whelan had a fabulous snapshot and brought a fabulous save out of Tacconi.
Nickel. Every Juventus player has withdrawn to a defensive position. Good play by Rush. He was being held a bit by Brio too. Walk trying to turn his man, who is Bonini. And here's Ronnie Whelan. That's a good save, because I think it got a deflection initially before the goalkeeper had to turn it over. And really did well. Whelan's shot came up off the defender near to him, and I think it's worth recording that the save was applauded at both ends of the ground.
Yes, a fabulous save by Stefano Tacconi, who has not been used all that frequently in league matches of late in Italy, and in fact it was rather surprising that he took the place between the posts and not Bodini, his rival, shall we say, in the Juventus camp. But that shot by Ronnie Whelan really again exemplified how many good finishers there are in that Liverpool team. Just about anybody anybody can go. But Raleigh, I'm afraid I'll have to hold your answer there because we're just about ready for the kick-off for the second half in Brussels. And here's our commentator, Barry Davis.
U hebt het al gevoeld, veronderstel ik, als u het gefilmd hebt. De reactie was er en iedereen is het al vergeten.
Heren,
en
misschien kunnen wij na de wedstrijd verder praten. We gaan beginnen aan de tweede helft en ik neem aan dat dat voorrang heeft.
Check of the watch from Mr. Dana. Juventus attacking the goal to our left. And Chirea, the man at the back, although he got forward quite a lot during the first period. Tardelli. Bonini. Just put in. And I noticed that Craig Johnson has come on wearing number 16, presumably in place of Paul Walsh. Just checking round, yes, in place of Paul Walsh. Craig Johnston, who was himself substituted a year ago in the European Cup final, comes on this time as a substitute. So Liverpool have used both their substitutes, and both because of injury. Lawrenson going off in the second minute, to be replaced by the man we were just looking at then, Gary Gillespie. And now Paul Walsh off just, well, he was injured just before half-time and replaced at the start of the second half by Craig Johnson. It's Ian Rush. Ronnie Whelan. Johnson really had no place to go. Breeds, if anything, a little bit stronger. And into Juventus faces. Dalglish makes the forward run. This is Whelan. John Walk. Too far for him, and he pushed his man. Bonini, second time in the match, he's managed to trip himself. Gillespie, just a clearance and nothing more. Chirea. Neil. The time to jump, the better. The foot of Craig Johnson was up. Platini was happy to get the ball, never mind the fact that he was on that occasion marked by two men. Bonini trying to get Rossi away. Liverpool ball. He thought he was pushed, but the referee thought otherwise. O'Neill, who has now fixed his testimonial match, start of next season, August the 12th against Everton at Anfield. Boniek. And again Boniek. Platini. Often trying to play the ball through the middle, and reasonably enough, because 2 or 3 times they've looked like being successful. Not really used too much width. Good control. Platini. Brzeski offering a bit of width. Tardelli. Rossi. Ball back by a rush for Liverpool. Beglin. With an unnecessary number of passes in defence for Liverpool, but they come away with it. Beglin. Rush. Chirea to him. Pass was really intended for John Walk. But he didn't continue his run, and I don't think he would have managed to collect had he done so. Platini. And the flag is up for offside. Grobbelaar into the danger anyway. Gillespie. Hansen. Good running by Hansen, but there's no chance of collecting that. Just the occasional natural football reaction, crowd reaction. But by and large the stadium understandably and properly mooted. Johnson is on the left, Rash down the middle, and two coming behind him. Away by Cabrini. Briaski. Taken away by Walk. Position tidied by Neil. Good counter by Sergio Brio. Platini. Oh, a slightly surprising offside decision, I feel, against Rossi. Certainly surprised Rossi and Platini. Here's Grobbelaar in time for a brief conversation. Gillespie. Walk. Rush the furthest forward for Liverpool. This is Dalglish. Hansen. Johnson, a little bit surprised to receive it back. He did well to make something of it. Mistake by Brio, but no danger. Neil. Whelan. Steve Nicol. Whelan has gone on. Comfortably cleared by Cabrini. The weight of the pass that just dropped the ball into the path of Bonini. Tadeni. Rossi. Boniek on the right side. Found by Scirea. And he was pulled shortly by Jim Beglin. Was Zbigniew Boniek. Free kick quickly taken. Boniek in possession. Looking for the return. Came to Walk instead. Free kick against Dalglish. Or trying to get to a ball that he'd lost. Caught the man first. Now, this is a possible position for Platini to test Bruce Grobbelaar. Now by Hansen. There. Brio. There. Tardelli. Hansen. Rush. Johnston. Johnston playing rather deeper than Walsh did, and it's having its effect upon Liverpool's an attacking force. What a great ball by Platini to Boniek. Between two. Trip, was he? Yes, the penalty is going to be given. Combination of Gillespie and Hansen. Boniek is all smiles. And Juventus had the penalty. From a threat at one end, one through ball by Platini created a threat at the other. Well, the initial trip looked to be outside and looked to be against Gillespie, but the referee said penalty. And Platini will take it. And he puts Juventus in front. Goal coming in the 11th minute of the second half. And it's Juventus' first goal in a European Cup final. And this their third. Grobbelaar going the wrong way, and although the trip may arguably have been outside the box, it was a lovely pass. It was a clear opportunity which was denied by the trip, and the resultant penalty has put the attacking side into the lead. Here's Rush. Whelan, Shearer. For the record, you have to go back to 1970 to find a side that came from behind in a match to win the European Cup, when Feyenoord of Holland did so against Celtic. Bayern Munich forced a draw in this stadium back in 1974 and then won the replay, but they didn't manage to put it right back in the one match. Dagish. Shot by Whelan, which deserves only the photographers. And as far as at the Juventus end, this pink firecrackers going off, which has drawn the attention of the riot police, but just almost a passing note this time. Free kick given to Juventus. Boniek. Gillespie's challenge. Whelan. John Walk. Neil. And the trip by Favreau. That's the referee's verdict on Craig Johnston. And the disagreement between Nicol and Cabrini. And a bit of an elbow then by Tardelli. Cut out by Rossi. Hansen. Looking for walk, but too long. And with his reflections on the goal scored by Platini from the penalty spot, Bobby Charlton.
Well, it was a marvellous piece of skill. I mean, the sheer invention of Michel Platini when he actually saw Bonnier going on his long run and he picked him out perfectly. It was a fair decision, the penalty, even though it was debatable whether it was outside or inside the box. But nevertheless, tremendous skill from one of the world's great players, if not the greatest player.
Nicol. Johnston. Darvish. Jim Beglin. Blocked by Massimo Bonini. Darvish a little unlucky. Griescu took it away from him. Hansen. Whelan. Darvish. Whelan. That's a well-struck shot by Jim Beglin. Produced a good save, too. Nicol. Good attempt at a comeback by Liverpool. Darvish. Too strong. And it would be rather in keeping with Italian style for the Juventus side to sit now on their lead. But it's to be hoped it's a policy they won't apply. Gillespie. Favreau watching Craig Johnston. Gillespie. Hansen. Beglin. Rush. Chance of a break. He was pulled. Platini. Shirt was pulled back by Jim Beglin. Nicol. Neil. Darvish. Walk starts the forward run. Cutting inside, left a little bit of space for Ronnie Whelan. And Rush thought he might get something of it, but it came off the head of Brio for a Liverpool corner. Walk. Clearance by Platini. And was there a push? Yes, the referee, I think, has given the free kick. Juventus finished too low in the league championship, in 6th place, to qualify for the UEFA Cup next season. But they are still involved in the Italian Cup, which has reached the quarter-final stage. Liverpool already assured of a continuation in Europe, in football terms at least, by finishing 2nd in our league championship. Neil. Schirer. Nickel. Interesting cross. And very well hooked away by Tardelli. Neil. Looking his foot, really couldn't have been much higher. Whelan. And again, it was Tardelli. He was marking his men. Got the header away. A long ball again for Boniek. Look at the pace. And it's matched this time by Beglin. Good play by a coming-in fullback. Bonini. Tardelli. Boniek. Onside is Tardelli. Good challenge. Dagish. Johnston. Faced as ever by Favreau. Goal kick. Craig Johnston, Bobby, not quite able to provide the sort of style that Paul Walsh was providing.
No, he doesn't seem to be able to get the same amount of space that Paul Walsh was enjoying in the first half, and he is short of pace, so a bit of a lost cause trying to go past his defender that time. Nevertheless, they are giving a little bit more space to Liverpool in the middle of the field, and maybe they'll be able to break something down. And a chance here, a free kick outside the 18-yard area. Well, it looks as though Dalglish would be interested in having a crack. He tried one in the first half, but got much too much height on it. The referee having a little difficulty in getting Bonini and Schirer back the required distance. Neil is available on the right. 3 players far behind the wall on the left, and 2 close to the wall. And it's Beglin. And there was no power in the shot.
Hansen. Dalglish. Neil. Bonini. Platini. Forward for Briaski. Has Gillespie for company. Boniek and Paolo Rossi for support. And Neil to take it away. Here's Alan Hansen. Neil. Johnston. Well, it had to be first time. And sadly for him, he didn't get it as he wanted. Platini has just finished as the top scorer in the Italian league, 18 this season, top scorer for the third year in succession, which matches the record of Gunnar Nordahl back in the early 50s. And his goal at present winning the European Cup for his side. Platini, that is. Boniek. Inside on the right. Rossi takes over. Dalglish suddenly appears. And the shot came from Briaski.
They are very quick on the break, Juventus, especially Boniek. And Briaski, the lad that fired the shot in there. Liverpool, obviously, they have to push forward the later that the game goes, trying to get this equaliser. And that will make them just that little bit more vulnerable to people like Platini and Boniek with the speed that they can counter-attack.
Rush trying to pull Brio out of the middle. As Whelan has possession and is fouled. Beglin. Dalglish. Really fires it up to Rush. John Walk. Rush with a follow-up. Now what about that for a challenge? The referee has a look. Liverpool obviously feel that was a reasonable claim for a penalty. And the referee has given a throw-in. I must say that it was a very harsh challenge by Bonini. And it was in the area, albeit the ball was going in the wrong direction, but that's not what counts. Well, it certainly was a challenge from behind. The whistle has gone for a free kick indirect to Liverpool. Whelan. And Craig Johnson who got the final touch to it. Hansen. Done well. This is Nicol. Walk. Out by Shirea. Shirea the furthest forward. Time Boniek trying to be the provider. Free kick for the challenge from behind by Brio on Rush. Taken early, and anyway, Walk was offside. And all credit to Hakoni for his speed off the line. Certainly has justified his choice as number one. John Walk, who's had a remarkable record of goal scoring in Europe. 23 goals in his 34 games before tonight. Most of his goals, of course, for Ipswich Town. All bar 5. All collected by Giovanni Trapattoni, coach of Juventus. Johnson on the break. And the corner. Dalglish. Hansen. Gillespie, 5 waiting, and they can wait for a corner. Nicol to take. It's a very long way back. Some skill from Boniek. He's a bit disappointed that Rossi didn't collect that. Dalglish. On by Walk. Looking to find Rush. But the flag was up anyway. He was battling. Ronnie Whelan, off Bonini, his marker, for the corner. Nicol on the edge of the 6-yard area, Rush further over. Gillespie a Walk. Won by Brio. That's a good save from Ronnie Whelan. Second really good save that Stefano Tacconi has made. And Whelan denied again. Gillespie, Dalglish, Nicol, bowing head of Sergio Brio. Under 10 minutes remaining. Liverpool, who previously had a 100% winning record in European Cup finals. And Juventus precisely the opposite. The Italians lead by the only goal scored by a Frenchman, Michel Platini, from the penalty spot in the 56th minute of the match. It's a useful ball by Neil. Nicol, and Rush couldn't get the power in the header he wanted. Liverpool have had a lot of possession since going down and have offered a not inconsiderable threat. Nicol's cross. Rush may have lost full sight of it as it came past Brio.
Yeah, it was always said that Ian Rush's heading wasn't his greatest asset, but nevertheless he was in a good position there, and they have started conceding a lot of midfield, have the Italians, and it is helping Liverpool to get back into the game. Fortunately for the Italians also, the goalkeeper Tacconi has had a particularly brilliant game, and two shots that he had from Whelan were particularly outstanding saves.
So Liverpool keeping the pressure on. Dalglish. Goalkeeper's right foot very high, his hands very safe. Dalglish. Neil. Johnston. That was a good challenge by Favreau. Johnston very nearly got away with him with that bit of cheek. Walk, let it go to Whelan. Out by Schirrer. Liverpool with almost total possession at the moment. Fine attempt by the Liverpool team to come back into it. Walk once more. Nicol, blocked by Cabrini. And a free kick has been given against Briaschi for holding off Gary Gillespie. And the Italians have three substitutes warming up. With 6.5 minutes of showing remaining on the stadium clock. Still, Platini's goal divides the teams. Corner. Schirrer struggled, and Nicol with the header. And I think the Italians want to make a substitution. And Rossi is being replaced. Well, is he? No, Briaschi is being replaced. He decided he needed to come off. The player who's come on is Prandelli. He's the player usually brought on to just tighten things when the team are in a winning position. So it's a defensive player for an attacking one. Four and a half minutes left. And Tacconi doing his job well to the end. Neil. Platini, it's bobbling a bit. Even so, he managed to find the man he was looking for, Rossi. Rossi took so long. Platini perhaps was caught in two minds as to whether he should be going forward at this stage of the game or not. Under 4 minutes for Liverpool to hold on to the cup. Indeed, to win it outright. Down to Platini's goal. Caesar, and is well claimed. And the free kick has been given against John Wall.
Well, Liverpool have just over 3 minutes to go, and they've been conceded everything in the middle of the field now. If they are going to score, they probably will do it by getting some crosses in, because they have been in trouble sometimes, the Italians, from a defensive point of view on crosses. They certainly won't let anyone run past them, and they've brought on the substitute specifically just to tie things up in the middle of the field and close the game down, something that the Italians are world famous for, probably the best in the world at it. So it's a difficult situation for Liverpool.
Bariek. Most concerned about keeping possession, and he doesn't get the free kick. Beglin got a little bit of a knock. Play well, Jim Beglin. Two minutes remaining. Italian champions leading the English champions by the only goal. And Juventus have a free kick, over which there will be no hurry. Liverpool now a minute and a half away from a failure to win a trophy in the season. And one has to go back 10 years for the last time that happened. And the Italians want to make another substitution. And the referee wants the clearance taken again, the goal kick taken again, so that Beniamino Vignola can come on in place of Paolo Rossi. Gillespie. Seconds ticking away. We're into the last 30 now. And all the noise is coming from the Juventus end. Hansen. Another to have had a fine game. And we're now playing the time that the Swiss referee has allowed for injuries and stoppages. Douglas. Neil. He thought about the shot. And away goes Boniek. Taking on Gary Gillespie and Alan Hansen again. Neil. Well watched by Shirea. And Liverpool's run of success in European Cup finals comes to an end. Juventus create history by becoming the first side to win all three of the UEFA tournaments. The one goal in this European Cup final scored by their Frenchman Michel Platini from a fine move which he ended by scoring from the penalty spot. But this is not a night when football will be remembered. The official figures of the tragedy which occurred before a ball was kicked. 36 people killed, more than 200 injured, and 15 of them seriously.
So Juventus win the European Cup for the first time in 3 attempts. Three times they've been in the final, and a triumph, of course, tinged with sadness because of that tragedy, as Barry Davis said, that occurred before a ball was kicked. But of course we're here to talk about the football, so let's talk about the football. Gentlemen, rally first, impressions of the game, deserved or undeserved victory by... we'll talk about that penalty incident later, but on general play. Really, what did you think?
Yeah, as we predicted before the match, by saying if Platini is allowed to play soccer, then the opposition will be punished, and that's exactly what happened. Irrespective, was it penalty kick which was scored by Platini himself, but Platini was instrumental in every breakaway that Juventus made throughout second 45 minutes. So, in my view, it's a well-deserved victory, but I object to one thing, to close the game as Juventus did into last 15 minutes, which they could be punished for also.
Very easily could have been. John, what did you think?
Well, a deserved victory for Juventus, almost predictably, if you like. Easy to be wise after the event, but it was the Platini-Boniek connection, if you like, which decided the game. And even though Liverpool had most of, because Juventus tried to close the game up a bit too early, they gave the game to Liverpool. But despite all the possession, I mean, really, apart from the Whelan shots, for example, you know, Liverpool didn't create any clear-cut scoring chance.
Well, we have saved about 4 incidents from that second half, and curiously 3 of them did occur at the Juventus end. But of course the game that, or the thing that decided the issue happened in the 11th minute, and that was the penalty converted by Michel Platini. Let's have a look at the incident that led to that penalty first.
Playing rather deeper than Walsh did, and it's having its effect upon Liverpool as an attacking force. What a great ball by Platini to Boniek. Between two, Tripp, was he? Yes, the penalty is going to be given. Combination of Gillespie and Hansen. Boniek is all smiles, and Juventus have the penalty. From a threat at one end, one through ball by Platini created a threat at the other. Well, the initial trip looked to be outside and looked to be against Gillespie, but the referee said penalty. And Platini will take it. And he puts Juventus in front. Goal coming in the 11th minute of the second half.
Yes, 11 minutes into the second half. Juventus went into the lead. Platini buried his penalty and they held on to it till the end. Really, the first thing about that is, of course, that the incident was outside. But, of course, for the sake of justice, the other thing was that Boniek was home and hosed and ready to score when he was brought down. What did you think of the whole affair?
I look from two different angles. One, that the player should be sent off or penalty kick should be given, because there is no justice in the world that this should be stopped by yellow card or just a free kick. So as Bobby Charlton says, it's justice, it's penalty kick, and plus...
Even if it's outside?
But not, you know, it's a questionable outside. Referee is behind the play, and as well as speed that Boniek was going on. Or that tackle was outside of the box. But where Boniek landed, that influenced referee's decision too. You know, but
well, I have no argument with you, Raleigh, on the fact that justice was served. What did you think, Johnny?
Well, according to the law, it was not a penalty. I mean, I agree for all the moral reasons that it should have been and would have been a goal, or whatever, but the most annoying feature of modern-day football is a professional foul just outside the penalty area. And it's something that soccer authorities have got to look at to deal with a lot harsher. But, I mean, in the strict terms of the law, it was never a penalty.
Okay. All right, John, at this point I have to break in just for a moment to say good night, or rather good morning, to our viewers in Adelaide. Thank you for being with us, and I hope you can join us at this time next year. The situation, getting back to the analysis of that first half, was that after that, as you said, Raleigh, Liverpool came back to lay the pressure on, partly because Juventus were content to stop back and defend. And as a result of that, just 6 minutes after that incident, in the 17th minute, Gillespie had a phenomenal shot and brought the best out of Stefano Tacco.
Darvish. Whelan. That's a well-struck shot by Jim Beglin. Produced a good save too.
Yes, a very good save. But John, you were saying while we were watching that Liverpool were very short on chances created, weren't they?
Well, you have to give it to Juventus. I mean, they knew how to wrap it up and how to close the game down. But despite all the territorial domination that Liverpool enjoyed, particularly in that last 20-25 minutes, they still did not create one clear goal-scoring chance. And this is A, is credit to Juventus, of course, for superb defence, and B, really limitations on Liverpool's part.
Raleigh, Ian Rush, on whom so many Liverpool hopes rested, and who, of course, was under the watchful eye of the Italians once again, as perhaps a future player for one of the Italian First Division clubs, a total disappointment.
He would certainly have to play in Italy different type of football than he played today. On the other hand, how smart move was by Trapattoni every high ball, every challenge was provided by Tardelli on Rush, and Rush didn't win many balls in the air at all. And so, you know, it's a contribution of the coaching before the game and decision by Trapattoni, who, in my opinion, Tardelli was man of the match apart from Tacconi, but probably as you couldn't see so much from Tardelli as much from Tacconi, but the contribution of Tardelli and influence on the game has been absolutely exceptional.
Well, if Liverpool couldn't win very much in the air, they did try a few times on the floor. And 28 minutes into that second half, they very nearly got a penalty. They certainly claimed it. And so that's an incident to look at, where Liverpool were denied a penalty just inside the area, 28 minutes into the half.
Dalglish really fires it up to Rush. John Walk. Rush with a follow-up. And what about that for a challenge? The referee has a look. Liverpool obviously feel that was a reasonable claim for a penalty. And the referee has given a throw-in. I must say that it was a very harsh challenge by Bonini. And it was in the area, albeit the ball was going in the wrong direction, but that's not what counts. Well, it certainly was a challenge from behind.
Ronnie Whelan denied, and Liverpool denied the penalty came. Barry Davis really did discuss the concept of the fact that that Whelan was facing the wrong way. What did you think of that one?
Well, my impression is as such that indirect free kick could be given at least, because it's in penalty area. Its decision had to be made, but the referee got out well by giving throw in, and that was easiest way to get out of it. But no way for a penalty kick, because the player is not in a scoring situation. He's facing opposite direction, and tackle wasn't as vicious as some people think. It's just sliding tackle, one of those things.
Mistime tackle. John, what did you think?
Oh, I disagree with Raleigh. Well, at first I didn't think the foul was not an offence that you could give an indirect free kick for anyhow. I thought it was a penalty.
Mm. And so what would Liverpool would be feeling pretty awful, but apart from that, how would they regroup after an incident like that, where the opposing team had gone into the lead through a penalty, and there were 28 minutes gone already in the second half?
In that sense, Liverpool were unlucky, but I mean, looking at the game overall, I mean, there is no doubt in my mind that Juventus was deserved to win the match.
All right, one more incident in that half that we saved for ourselves. 34 minutes in, Ronnie Whelan, the man denied in that particular incident, unleashed a tremendous volley and brought out another great save from Tacconi.
Further over, Gillespie a walk, won by Brio. That's a good save from Ronnie Whelan. Second really good save that Stefano Tacconi has made.
Stefano Tacconi rally, much like that Hungarian goalkeeper in the UEFA Cup final, one of the heroes of the night.
Yeah, as you pointed out before, decision by Trapattoni to replace Bodini for some or the other reason. What a magnificent decision. You know, in European Cup final, one player who is brought in as a surprise selection to more or less be man of the match. It's absolutely incredible, and a magnificent display of the flexibility and courage, and also incredible skills. Excellent goalkeeper.
What would that be for a decision like that? Reasons of temperament when the pressure's on, or?
Only Trapattoni would know that, and if Trapattoni makes decision, I mean, which pays off, then he must be really, really pleased as a coach. He won't be criticized in a circus, at least in Italy. You know.
Right, John. It was good to see Craig Johnston come on as a substitute in that second half. What did you think of his, pardon me, of his game?
Well, obviously he's not match fit, if you like, in a sense of playing in the first team. He was very busy. He obviously tried very hard to do some things, but it hasn't been a happy year for Craig. And I think we can only all hope that he gets over his problems, if not with Liverpool, with another club, and realises the potential we all know he has. But I felt that he was, you know, he was probably one of the better Liverpool players in the second half.
Yeah. I thought he was. We're obviously not privy to all the details of what goes on between him and Liverpool, but obviously Joe Fagan, the manager, the retiring manager, was one of the problems. Now he's retiring. What would you, from where you're sitting, encourage or at least hope that Craig stays with Liverpool?
Well, I would think that Liverpool is such an established club, and who's going to take over is already known as probably part of the staff, I would assume, and they would be aware of the problems that Craig had, and I would think that Craig's days at Liverpool would be numbered, and I think it's probably in his best interest too to look for another club.
Right. Rally, we've already discussed some of the players in this match, but let's discuss some of the others. Paolo Rossi, one of the big stars of the World Cup and one of the big stars of Italy over the last 3 or 4 years. His display tonight?
If Paolo Rossi is on a park and doesn't score, then it's just pointless to have him on a park. But, you know, who can predict
Well,
Paolo
not necessarily, Rally, if I can interrupt you there, because what has been happening with Rossi in the Italian league, of course, as you probably know, is that he's so tightly marked that he's being used as a decoy and to pull defenders away from the path of Platini and Boniek. So he can still serve his purpose, can't he?
Yeah, but you see, contribution by a player as such as Boniek and contribution of the world #1 player after the World Cup 1982 is just absolutely not possible to compare. Taking into consideration that Boniek only a day earlier played for his country, and you know, to play match and be so much involved in every happening on the park for 90 minutes is just non-comparable, and it's incredible difference between two superstars. So his contribution is not as such, and I was surprised that he wasn't taken off the park much earlier.
Right. Okay, gentlemen, well, that just about wraps up the European Cup final for 1985, the European battle. John, thanks very much for sitting in this morning and coming in all the way up from Canberra. And I hope it was worth getting up for, despite the sadness earlier, of course. Rally, thank you for being with us, and we hope to see you both next year. Just to recap on what happened earlier today, the match, of course, was delayed by an hour and a half. The kick-off was delayed an hour and a half because of a very sad tragedy where apparently rival fans rioted. A group of fans collapsed on a group of other fans, and the death toll from that incident at the last count was 36, with quite a few injured, about 15 critically still. That's the tally at the moment. I believe that all of the victims, all of the fatal victims, were